Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for joining me again today for another live Q&A session here on my channel. If you're new here, welcome. We're glad to have you. My name is Angela. I am a full-time voiceover artist and an audiobook narrator, and my channel is dedicated to those of you just getting started out in this wonderful world of voiceover and audiobook narration. And through my channel, I share with you some tips and tricks and techniques that I use every day in my own voiceover business, and I answer your questions in these live Q&A sessions. If you're not new here, then you know that every week, apart from last week, of course, we have a poll. And this week, the poll, and I want you guys to be honest. The poll is anonymous, but be honest with yourself. What is keeping you from moving forward? And I ask this week because I have been hearing an awful lot of this in recent weeks, days, months. And that is what we like to call analysis paralysis, procrastinating, right? Self-sabotage, right? So in your mind, what is keeping you from moving forward? And the options are lack of coaching, lack of equipment, lack of experience, or just plain old flat out self-doubt. Well, it could be any combination of those, or it could be all of them. But seriously, what do you think is holding you back? So far we have about 20 votes. It looks like 40% of you said lack of coaching, 40% of you said lack of experience, 5% of you said lack of equipment, and 15% of you said self-doubt. And I think these are all responses. This is pretty much how I thought it was going to go. I honestly thought there would be more self-doubt because we all feel it. We all feel it. And I think one of the major problems that we have, especially right now when a lot of us are watching YouTube, we're looking at social media, we find this new thing that we think will be a perfect fit for us, right? Something that we might enjoy to fill the void that we have within ourselves. And we go to social media, we go to the researching phase, right? And we find all of these people that are doing what we want to do, right? And you might come across me or Anthony Pica or Bill DeWeese or, any of the other voice artists that are on YouTube and other places. And you watch the videos and you go, man, how do I get to where they are? Or they are in a place where I want to be and I'm never going to get there, or because they have X or they have Y and I don't have these things, right? Well, what you have to remember is that me, Anthony Pica, Bill DeWeese, everybody else that you are watching, we all started in the same place that you are in, at zero, at nothing, right? You're comparing where you are to someone else that is got years invested in coaching, practice, time, experience, equipment, whatever, you know what I mean? You can't compare yourself where you are now to someone else that's got a lot more time and money invested, right? So you have to give yourself some grace. Just know that we all started in the same place. You can get there, but it's going to take time. It's going to take practice. It's going to take coaching. It's going to take investment to get to where all of these people that you're watching are. And I think that is maybe even something else that we forget when we're looking at social media just in general, right? We see all of these things that aren't maybe quite, I don't know, I don't want to get into a whole other tangent about social media, but I think you know what I'm talking about. It's an opportunity for us to self-sabotage, right? So, but what I wanted to talk about today was a concept that I have heard quite a few times over the last couple years, and that is instead of ready, aim, fire, ready, fire, aim, right? Just do it and then adjust accordingly as you go along. Because as you go along, once you take that first step and fire, then you're getting in the practice, you're building the confidence, you're adjusting your aim, right? Because maybe what you think that you're aiming for turns out to be not quite suited for you or doesn't work for your business or whatever the reason may be. So then you can adjust your aim to be more appropriate for where you want to go. But I think a lot of us get stuck in this planning phase, right? The researching phase, the procrastinating phase, because it's safe and it's easy, right? Just to say, I don't have X, Y, or Z that so and so does. So therefore, I cannot move forward. Let's be real. What is it really that's holding you back? Is it coaching? Go find a coach. I know it's an investment, but it's an investment in you and your business. Is it lack of equipment? You can get some secondhand, borrow something from somebody to see if you enjoy doing this, right? Is it lack of experience? Get started, start practicing. Is it self-doubt? Now, that one might be the hardest to overcome because we've all experienced it in some way, shape, or form, right? Even myself. At the very beginning, and I hear this a lot from a lot of people, in the very beginning, when you're listening to yourself, you record something, you get the courage to record something. You hit that record button, you start recording something, and you listen back to yourself and you just cringe. Why in the world would anyone want to pay to listen to this? Believe me, they do. I thought the same thing. And here I am, full time, 3 years later, full time, 3 years, right? This is actually my 3-year anniversary, excuse me, of being full time. I've been doing this for 5 years and full time for 3. So just fire and build the confidence to keep going and then adjust your aim accordingly, right? As I said before, voice actors represent the world, right? So there is a need for every voice, every pitch, every nuance, everything that maybe you think that your voice has that is unappealing is more than likely needed somewhere. So don't let anything hold you back. Just do it. Just get started. Just go record something. Right? All right. Let's get over to the comments. And if you want to keep your responses anonymous in the poll, that's fine. If you want to elaborate on your responses, please do so in the comments. All right. Let's head over to the comments. Let's see who is here. Matthew Russell's first in. Oh, you got an early start. Should I prepare my first demo samples for a potential voice coach to analyze, straight to the market, or both? Well, I would say I just went straight to the market. I'll tell you what I did. I went straight to market and then adjusted accordingly. Essentially, I did the ready, fire, aim, I guess. And then it wasn't until about a year and a half in that I sought out coaching because I started to hit that plateau, right? I was starting to build my book of clients, but then I sort of leveled off. So that's when I, went searching for a coach to maybe find that secret sauce, and then I had coaching for a year. And I think it was very, very, very beneficial for me, taught me a lot about myself and how to run my business and to keep moving forward. So potentially both, but you could go straight to market and then adjust as needed to analyze your samples. If you have a concern about audio quality, then you could reach out to an audio engineer, perhaps, and they could tell you what you could effects wise. They could tell you what you could add or how to. Maybe it's mic placement. Maybe you've got room noise. Maybe it's a little bit of EQ that you need. So depending on what your concern is, if it's performance, then yeah. But you know what? You could also join a Facebook group like mine. I allow people to share demos and ask for feedback from the group. I've got a little over 1,400 members in my Facebook group. So there's a lot of perceptions and insight there. Next in is Chosen Lightheart. Morning, y'all. Thing holding me back right now is not wanting my name on ACX. Wanted to start a different Amazon account to sign up for ACX, like on an Amazon business account maybe, but I don't have a business registered yet. I think the question is, why would you not want your name on ACX? And I ask that because I know a lot of people, including myself, started this business on ACX and then sort of branched out to do other things in voiceover. And if that is not what you want to do, I totally understand that. If you only want to narrate audiobooks, perhaps under a pseudonym, you could do that. But I would make your profile for that pseudonym and then just have it stay that way. But if you're open to doing more stuff in the future, then you're going to come to a point where people are going to be finding you on other sites or through your social media and then your website, right? Do you want all of that stuff to be under a pseudonym? Or would you want to be found by your name? So I guess that is the question to consider for not wanting your name on ACX. Let me know. Joanna Cook, hi. Will you talk about cadence and talk speed? Cadence and talk speed. I think it depends on the project. If there's a particular cadence and speed requested by the client, then that's what you would do. But if we're talking about perhaps audiobooks or e-learning, meditation is a whole different animal because you're really slowed down, right? It really depends on the project. I think for audiobooks and e-learning, I naturally talk pretty fast. I read pretty fast. So I have to consciously slow myself down so I am easily understood and everything I say is clear and concise, but not too slow that you don't sound like an AI or like you are just reading words. So it's tough to find that happy medium, perhaps, the sweet spot of your rhythm. But generally, it really depends on the project. Joya Shanatri? Hope I'm saying that right. I apologize if I butchered it. I've made a ton of progress the past week. Went from unbranded to branded. I was using Chris VGL, and now I'm branding my pen name for VO work. Progress is happening. That's awesome. Congratulations. I think I speak for everybody here in the chat. Good job. Eric is here. Hey, Eric. Good to see you. Well, see your face anyway. See your little profile picture. I voted for lack of experience. By that, I mean needing more titles on my resume in order to hang with the big dogs like you. Stop it. And brag that I've done XXX books. And that just comes with time, Eric. You gain more experience as you go along. You know that. I'm at a different place than you are. You are, what, 2 or 3? Yeah, about 3 years behind me, roughly. In terms of when you got started, you'll get there. You, I think, already have more titles under your belt than I did in your position. It wasn't until the last few years when I went full time where I really, like, my audiobook production or my queue really accelerated. So you're already in a good place, Eric. Just keep going. Mark Flores. Hey, made a big step by moving my recording space from my closet to my music room. I'm now able to do punch and roll, which is saving me so much time. You know, I don't know if I'm just not coordinated enough for punch and roll. I don't know what it is with my brain, but punch and roll is, if you can get it just right, I can see where it would save you so much time in post, as opposed to editing out retakes later with the click method. To edit on the fly as you go along, that would save you some time. But I know that I would still have to go back through the file anyway, just to make sure that all of those cuts and the big breaths, anything that shouldn't be there, are removed. So for me, I don't know if it would save me a whole lot of time, because I'd still be going through it anyway in post, but that's great. I'm glad that someone can figure it out. I know there's a lot of people that can, but myself, I just can't seem to get it. I don't know what it is. Matthew Russell says, this month I'll be seeking out a voice coach. Good for you, Matthew. Perfect. I think that's a great idea. Jason says, good morning to the wonderful Angela. Good morning, Jason, and everyone else. Indeed. Always a pleasure to get to sit in with you live. May it be a great day. I love that attitude, Jason. I love the positivity. Gratitude and being thankful for what you have and where you are, and just being healthy and alive for the air in your lungs is always a great way to start the day, right? Sets the tone for the day. Well said, Jason. Facebook user. All right, who is this? Jim Cecil? Good morning, Jim. Just want to say I am here now. We may proceed. Glad you're here. Thank you so much. Simone Brooks. I know you have some Upwork videos, but I would love if you could delve a little deeper into the specifics of what to include in a proposal, as well as beefing up your profile. I want to say that I do have one that is about a proposal, and I think I even walk you through how to make a template for a proposal. I think I have a couple of videos that touch just on that. But beefing up your profile, that's a good idea. It's been a minute since I've made a YouTube video. I've just been doing these lives. But I think you're onto something, Simone. I think I'll do that. Simone then also says to Chosen Lightheart, when I joined ACX, I joined under my pseudonym, but filled out the tax forms under my real name. No negative repercussions yet. Yeah, you're allowed to use pseudonyms. When you submit a book and you hit that I'm done button, a little pop-up will come up and ask you what name you want to use for the book. But the only thing to keep in mind, if you are choosing to use a pseudonym, make sure that the author or the rights holder knows that you're using a pseudonym up front. The sooner the better, because sometimes they will have special cover art made for the audiobook that shows the narrator's name. So you want to make sure that you let them know that you are using a pseudonym and what that pseudonym is, so they can put that name on the cover art instead of your name, because that just sort of negates the whole pseudonym thing, right? Joanna Cook, smiley face. Randy Carpenter is here. Good morning. Thanks to your knowledge, enthusiasm, and encouragement, I have purchased equipment and submitted 3 auditions to ACX. Good job. And then get more mileage out of those auditions and use them as samples. Post them as samples on ACX. Simone says, I'd also love if you talk more, do a whole video about specifics of getting into meditations, best places to find the work, tips on performance, etc. Please. I do have a course on meditations, affirmations, ASMR, healing with your voice, or healing with voiceover is what it's called. I have a course on my website about just all of these things. But I want to say I do have a couple of videos. I know I have one that walks you through how to add a music bed to meditations, but I don't think, I'll have to double check, but I want to say that I do. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm thinking of the course. Okay. It's another great video idea. If I don't, I'll check. JCCAOL says, hi, Angela. Well, hello. I came across a really good warm-up exercise. You say tongue twisters and then say them again 3 times really fast, putting emphasis on consonants. Have you ever tried this? Um, no, because I'm already pretty articulate. But I think that's a good idea. I mean, anything that ultimately works to get you warmed up. I mean, some people really exercise their face to get warmed up or exercise their whole body. They'll go and do a workout and really work the muscles of your face, stick your tongue out. Some people scream, some people, whatever really works for you to get your face and your mouth warmed up, I think is a good thing. But maybe we should try it. Maybe we'll try it in my next platinum group. Some tongue twisters. Skyland says, hello, Angela. Thank you for today's live. I want to ask you, is AI a threat to our industry? The technology is getting really advanced. Thank you. That is a good question. And I'm hearing a lot of talk about AI. And I don't know. Some say yes. Some say no. Some say to embrace it. Some say to fear it. Some say, I don't really know. All I know is that it's kind of a wait and see for me. I do think that what I have said many times before about especially new talent coming into the pool for voiceover is to learn other skills above and beyond voiceover, in addition to voiceover, complementary to voiceover as video editing, audio editing, things that AI can't yet do, right? Things that will make you a little bit more valuable to your clients, right? If you know how to create PowerPoints, if you know how to, if there's any other skills that you can offer in addition to, in conjunction with your voiceover, we're really at a point where we're really having to think outside the box and to use more skills that we may have or add more skills in conjunction with our voiceover to make us a little bit more valuable to clients. That's one less freelancer they have to go and find, right? But I can tell you with certainty that today, this morning, before this live, I completed 2 orders as an AI voice. One was for a short film, and one was for a YouTube video. It's like a skit that they were doing. So yeah, a short film and a YouTube skit. So if I am still being hired to sound like an AI, then I'm not yet worried that it's going to be a threat. I have actually been hired in the past, just to make you feel a little bit better, hired in the past to replace an AI generated voice as an AI, right? So there's that. I don't know. I'm sort of in a wait and see kind of period. I wouldn't be too concerned as of yet, but in the interim, definitely learn all of the, complementary skills to voiceover that you can. It's going to do nothing but help you, for sure. I'm doing it, and I recommend that everybody else do it too. Oh, looks like we got a little super chat. Hold on. Who is that? Sean Lester. Sean Lester 007. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. I am thrilled to say that I have been full-time for the past month. However, one evening I was on a roll and recorded into the night, then lost my voice the next morning. What limits do you maintain? I always limit myself to 2 to 3 hours max. And then I get up and take a break and really check in with how I'm feeling, because you can start to tell, right, if your voice is getting tired. If you feel that you could have a nice cup of tea with some lemon and honey or something to maybe soothe it temporarily and keep going, then do it. You know you best, right? But if you start to feel a little bit, gravelly, perhaps, maybe it's time to give it a rest for the night. But this is all. This is why I say, or one of the reasons why I say, to give yourself enough time to get the projects done and to break. If it's an audiobook, for example, break it up into chapters day by day, right? So today, do chapters 2 through 4. Tomorrow, 5 through 6. Break it up so you're giving yourself the rest that you need, because this is a muscle. It's instrument. This is your. Someone called it the other day a golden goose, right? This is your moneymaker. So you want to treat it very kindly, right? And take care of it, which is why, again, I apologize I wasn't here last week, because I was in that very same I had something going on and my voice was nothing more than a garbled whisper. So I had to take it easy. But yeah, 2 to 3 hours max for me. And then I do the check-in and see how I'm feeling. But thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. It was very kind of you. Now I gotta go find where I left off. Oh, here I am. Okay. Rustic Hillbilly. Burning. How is it in Oregon today? Facebook user. Let's see, who is this? Need a good invoicing system. Any good suggestions? I personally use PayPal Business. And I think if you get into QuickBooks, they have an invoicing platform. They have invoicing too. I'm trying to remember. We just had a conversation about this not too long ago. I think there was also Waves, or was it Wave? Maybe it's Waves. I know I have notes somewhere, but asking me to find them right now is probably not going to happen. But we did talk about this in a video a while back. I want to say maybe a month or two ago, guys. Was it? But if you look around, you'll find some platforms that do offer invoicing. But I personally use PayPal Business, and then there's also QuickBooks that's available to me. I don't use it, but it is available. But those are the ones that immediately come to mind. JCCAOL says, I think a great warm-up exercise would be to say Candyman 5 times really fast. Have you tried that, Angela? Are you trying to get me to do it? Is that a challenge? All right. Candyman, 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 Candyman. Ooh, I kind of lost my D there a little bit. Candyman, 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 Candyman. Hey, I like that. Pamela says, morning. Morning, Pamela. Veritas ante omnia. Hey, Angela. I've been narrating and recording myself every day for the past, what just happened? For the past 2 months or so. I didn't want to audition on ACX without having done a whole novel. In hindsight, I have improved a lot. That's great. And I was in the very same position. I didn't want to get onto ACX and charge people for my ignorance, right? So I went to LibriVox.org and donated. I volunteered to narrate sections, chapters, or a book in its entirety. And these are all books that are out of copyright. These are all books that are in the public domain. But in doing that, I built confidence in knowing that I could do it, that I could narrate. And not only that, but the technical aspect too, right? The formatting, the file requirements, that I could learn to do that. So yeah, just recording something, and practicing is definitely going to help. Good job. Is it Yoya or Joya? I don't want to say it wrong. You should add time constraints. That would be a good one. Yes, I would vote for lack of time in the given day. Full-time author, editor, and breaking through audiobooks is a lot of work. I'm half done with the audiobook edit. Time constraints is definitely one. I can definitely relate to that. I started out fairly slow. I didn't push myself in the beginning because I was working full-time. I was out of the house for 10, 11 hours every day. And then I would have to, and I'm a mom, so that I had to, pick up the kiddo, get home, make dinner, help with homework. But my only time to really do anything in the studio were weekends and late at night. So I had to sacrifice a little bit of time with my family, but I found time here and there, but I didn't overwork myself either, I suppose, not overbook myself, I should say. So I started out fairly slow until I got to the point where I was losing voiceover business being employed for someone else. And that's when I made the jump. But that is definitely one I should have added to the vote. Time constraints. Yes. Michelle S. Hi, Angela and everyone. Hello, Michelle. This is a great poll. I so appreciate your honesty and humility. I overcame a silly equipment issue today, and I'm feeling good about it. All in the little things, one at a time. Absolutely. That's a great attitude to have. A silly equipment, they're usually silly things, right? You have a problem with something, and then you're like, once you find out what the issue is, you're like, why didn't I think of that? Why wasn't that the first thing that I checked? After you've unplugged and replugged in everything and you go through all the settings on everything, 2 hours later, you're like, man, why didn't I think of that to start with? It's usually what it is, right? Just something dumb. Yeah, but one thing at a time, one day at a time. Hang on, there's another super chat. Nathaniel Lee, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys just being here, let alone throwing in a super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for that. Then I lost my place again. Here we go. Facebook user. Okay, who is this? Build your airplane. This is Jim Cecil again. Build your airplane as you roll down the runway. Yes, that is another saying that I've heard quite a bit. That's along the same lines as ready, fire, aim. Right. Exactly. Hunter Bird. Here's another warm-up. Toy boat. Toy boat, toy boat. Toy boat. Oh, started to get me at the end there. Toy boat, toy boat, toy boat. Say as fast as you can at least 3 times. How many of you guys are doing that right now? I'll do it later too. That's a good one. Because you just want to toy boot. Matthew Russell. Should I make my first demo for my potential coach and not directly to the market? No. I would make your first demo and use it. I would not wait. I would not wait for the permission from anyone other than yourself. Your first demo is going to be your first demo. Your first demo is always your first demo. But you can always not upgrade, but redo it. You can revise it. You can re-record it. You can replace it, right? Just get your first demo out there. Again, if it's an audio quality issue that you're concerned about, then you can ask for feedback from other people. Same thing with performance, right? If you're concerned about your performance, you can ask your peers what they think. Everybody's got a different ear for something, right? And maybe they have a different opinion on something. That could definitely help you either way, whether it's audio quality or if it's performance. But if you're looking to start with a coach before jumping into the market, you could do that too. A lot of people aren't in that place, that where they have the money to invest in coaching or mentoring. And I get that. I wasn't really either. But at some point, I definitely recommend it. But you don't have to wait on anybody's go ahead to get started. Just do it. Just go record something, right? As we say here. Oh my goodness, another super chat. Hold on. Reason. You're the best. It's good to see your name again on here. I'm glad you're here. Reason Dixon. Hey, Angela, have a coffee on me. Thank you. You guys all know I'm a coffeeholic. Question. What types of work do you that get you the most repeat customers, i.e. audiobooks, meditation, e-learning? Those 3, audiobooks, meditation, and e-learning, I get a lot of repeat clients. And also IVR, phone messages. Because I think what it is, especially in these times, if you're doing a phone tree, for Rachel, press 1, for Jeremy, press 2, and next week Rachel and Jeremy are gone, then that client comes back to you again to have their phone tree updated. So I think Those four, I see a lot of repeat business on: audiobooks, meditation, e-learning, and phone messages. I see a lot of. And your voice would be appropriate for all of them. Thank you, Reason. Yeah, lost my place again. Hold, please. Okay, here we go. Sean Lester. But me down or put me down maybe as an other on the poll. I realized this week that I have taken on so much work that I haven't left time to plan and pursue what would be better for me. I think if you've taken on too much work, voiceover work, perhaps, maybe it's time to consider raising your prices. That is usually what's a good indicator of when to raise your prices, is when you're too busy. The demand for your work, to control the workflow. If you don't have the time, because you don't want to be overloaded and then put out, less than quality work because you're too busy, right? Maybe it's time to consider raising your prices. But yeah, time constraints, right? Or over being overbooked. Definitely another. Eric says, congratulations on the anniversary. Well, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Facebook user, Jim Cecil, thank you for the happy anniversary. I'm excited. 3 years went by so fast. So fast. Stephen Byrne says, congratulations on your 3-year anniversary of being full-time. Can totally relate to the self-doubt issues. Thanks for the reminder to keep pushing on. Absolutely. Just keep pushing. Just keep pushing. If you come to an obstacle, you were meant to deal with that obstacle, to learn something, right? Look at it that way. Obstacles are a lesson that you need to learn. But what matters is that you get back up and that you keep going, right? Joya says, or I hope it's Joya, if you hate your voice, just remember there's a plugin for every fix to make you sound amazing. Yes, but I don't want you to hate your voice. Plugins or no plugins, effects or no effects, don't hate your voice. It's part of what makes you you. And everybody's unique in that special way. And not only your voice, but your life experience, your perception of things is unique to you. And that comes through in the way that you speak and the way that you interpret things, right? So everything, your voice, your mind, it's all uniquely you. So don't ever hate your voice or anything about you for that matter. You are supposed to be just the way that you are. Harrison Jones says, Angela, Harrison. JCC AOL says, first off, I want to congratulate you on the anniversary. Thank you, sir. In regards to today's question, I actually have been recording. For me, it came to making time. It's the first thing I do in the morning. Yeah, in retrospect, I really should have added a time constraint, but I'm only limited to 4 poll responses. So, but yeah, you're right. Time constraints definitely would have been a good one to add on there. Kara. Hi, Kara. Good morning. Sorry I'm late, but I'm here. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for joining. Joanna says that is helpful. Thanks. Welcome, Joanna. JCC AOL says, I also want to say right now, I just make sure I get the recording done and focus what I need to do that day, not about my goals a year or so from now, just what I need to do that day. And I think that is the best way to do it. I mean, have goals, right? Have a goal for what you want to get done in the month. Have a goal for what you want to accomplish by the end of the year. But then break down those goals into smaller bite-sized chunks for the day. So you're still getting done what you need to get done, apart from voiceover, everyday things that you need to get done. But then you're also giving yourself the time or allotting the time to get a small piece or a small step forward of your goal done also. That make any kind of sense that I just totally tongue twist myself? But that is why I recommend having like an agenda book, right? I have like a monthly, daily agenda book on my desk open all the time so I can write down, because I'm old school, I can write down, from get chapters 2 through 4 done of X book and then, edit this book or whatever it is, just so I am on top of things and I'm still getting things done and moving forward on all the things that I need to move forward, whether it be a project or a goal or both. Yeah, but don't like stress yourself out about bigger things. Break them down into smaller chunks so they're attainable, right? Randy Carpenter says, when you send a message to an author, I've heard you say, I will produce your book. Do we have the option to not produce? If you're on ACX, for example, because you see narrator and producer, right? If you're a narrator, you're just reading the words, right? You're telling the story, you're reading the book out loud. The produce part is typically the post narration, the technical side, which is the editing, the formatting, the mastering, right? Most of us, I'd say a good 90% of the people that I know that narrate audiobooks are both. They narrate and then they also produce the book. That way, all of the income stays with them, right? You can narrate the book and then hire an editor to produce the book, but then you'd be sharing in the revenue, right? Nat. Get out of here, Nat. How did they even get in here? I don't know. So you don't have to produce the book, but if you are a one-man show narrating and producing the book, then you would be the producer. But if you want to hire someone to do that part for you, then you could just be the narrator, right? But I say I will produce your book because it's a production that includes the narration and the production part, right? The narration and the technical part together. That's what I mean by that. John Smith says, I have a studio to record music, need to set up booth to record voice. I have my first project ready. Congratulations. So you've already got a step above most of us. You have a, music background and knowledge and a place to record music. So you're already a little bit ahead than most of us, but congratulations, John. Nathaniel Lee says, I have a critical question. Uh-oh. Also, hello. And thank you for all your mentorship. Because of you, I've produced 7 books. Congratulations. That's awesome. My question is, can an author download your finished audio without paying you first? Technically, yes, they can. Are you talking about on ACX? I don't know if they can download it per se. They can listen to it. But then ACX won't move any further with that production until you say, yes, I've been paid. But this is another reason why I ask for at least, if it's per finished hour, at least 50% up front to get started. So if they do end up running away with my files at the end, I have something for my time. And it generally dissuades, spammers or scammers, not spammers, scammers from trying to take advantage, and run away with my audio because they have to pay 50% up front. So, I don't know if they can download. I know they can definitely play it to hear it. Are you talking about ACX? Which platform are you referring to, Nathaniel? Or just in general? Christy Lynn VO says, oh, hi. Hi, Christy. So for me, I think it's lack of experience as well as self-doubt. I see posts by authors who say they won't hire a narrator who doesn't have X amount of experience. That's discouraging. That is discouraging. But at the same time, I can't tell you, Christy, how many authors I have worked with on their debut novel. So I think we probably hear more of the authors that say what you have read, but there's also an equal amount of authors that are open to anyone with the voice that fits what they had in their head, regardless of how many times they've done it before, right? So again, social media or wherever you're seeing these is something you have to take with a grain of salt. We're more apt to share things that may be discouraging or that we perceive as negative than the positive stuff. Unfortunately, we don't see as much positive stuff as we do negative stuff everywhere online. And it is discouraging, but don't let it stop you. I would say a good half of the authors that I've worked with have, their debut novels, right? And I think I want to say even in the beginning for me, I have my very first book. I had probably a couple of offers to do. But I think the thing is that unless they're searching you on Audible to see how many books you've done, which I don't even know how many people actually do that. Unless they're asking for samples. If they just want samples, then you can do that. But if they're actually wanting to verify that you've done X amount of books before they hire you, I don't know. Anyway, I guess my point is I'm feeling a tangent coming on and I'm trying to just trying to keep myself from doing it, but don't let it bother you. Just keep going. Just put your blinders on and keep going. Phil. Hey, Angela, how you feeling? I'm 95%. I still have a little bit of nasal stuff, but man, I'll tell you what, this time last week, I was just sad sack. I'll tell you what. Randy Carpenter says, do you have a problem getting the RMS standard correct? Any tips? The RMS is basically the average volume of your dialogue. So I think for me, it came with mic placement, your mic gain, compression, and I'm not going to say don't add inflection, but sort of modulating your voice, keeping an equal distance from your mic is definitely going to help. Finding a mid-range gain, right? I guess you could always add volume later too if you needed to. I have a couple of videos here on my channel where I go through exactly that, RMS. And I think they're in the videos where I go through an audition on ACX from start to finish. I go through the whole thing and finding an audition to do, recording it, editing it, formatting it, addressing the RMS, and then saving it and submitting it. And then maybe that would help. But I think those are the elements to consider the most when you're trying to get an RMS right, is your mic placement, the mic gain, and adding compression. Because compression is basically going to take your highs and your lows and bring them a little bit closer together, which is ultimately what RMS is. It's the average volume of your dialogue, right? So if you have peaks that are way up here and lows that are way down here, then that's going to throw off the average volume, right? So those are the things that I would say to consider in trying to get your RMS right. Christy Lynn says, I can't do punch and roll either. I love my clicker. And if I did punch and roll, I wouldn't have all the fun mistakes to post on TikTok. There you go. There you go. I love my clicker too. Yay, we can start an uncoordinated club. I can't punch and roll club. Kara. I went from the click method to punch and roll, and I find it better for me. Oh, cool. I feel like I do save a lot of time in post. Well, you can't be part of the I can't do punch and roll club then, Kara. That's fine. That's awesome. I mean, hey, whatever works better for you. Some of us are uncoordinated and can't do it. I'll speak for myself. Facebook user. Okay, who is this? This is Jim Cecil. The thing holding me back is what photo to use in all those profiles that need to be uploaded. Mic, no mic, casual, business. Jim, if this is the only thing holding you back, I think you're in a good place. And your profile picture should not be anything that you spend a whole lot of time with. The profile picture that you guys see for me everywhere was taken with my phone, just sitting here in my studio. Of course, it was before I redid it. The photo is probably 5 years old now, but I did it with my phone. Just smile and take a picture. It doesn't have to have a mic in it. I would say, in terms of dress, I tell people when they show me their profile picture and they're like in a business suit does not scream voiceover to me. It screams financial planner to me or school principal, or something it says stuffy to me, right? So I would say dress comfortably, be in your studio, be in front of your mic or not in front of your mic, and just look like you're an approachable everyday person, but smile, right? You want to look friendly and approachable and fun, because voice acting is not just all stuffy, right? Voice acting is becoming other characters and really stepping outside of your comfort zone sometimes and doing these characters. It shows that you're fun, approachable, and, personable. You're relatable, right? I hope that helps make your decision. Kirk, Indeed. Haha, I've infected you with Indeed. Yes, you have. Good morning. I was talking to somebody else yesterday that said Indeed a lot, and I giggled every time, and they thought I was giggling at them. But I wasn't. It was because they reminded me of you. Veritas ante omnia says, I think everyone is in a different place. I wasn't very social and had a monotone voice before trying to narrate audiobooks. And I never read novels, so I thought I should practice first. Everybody is in a different situation. Everybody's space, voice, time, availability. Everybody's in a different situation, and everybody's in a different place of experience, right? If you started yesterday versus last month or last year or even a decade ago, everybody's in a different place. There's too many variables to give, or to take a singular path to get to where you want to be. Yeah, but practicing is never a bad thing, right? Now I'm at the point where I'm comfortable asking certain friends for their opinion and constructive criticism. The feedback does help a lot. And I think that's a good point, to ask for feedback from people not in the voiceover industry, but also ask people who are in the voiceover industry. They may hear something that is not quite evident to people not looking for it, right? So to hear feedback from both sides, I think is something good to do, right? Because to the people who don't do what we do, could tell you, man, just ask them, hey, could you listen to this for hours on end? Is there anything that stands out that's particularly grating or makes you uncomfortable, or do you enjoy this? And then you can ask the voiceover people, does this sound sibilant? Do you hear a lot of mouth noise? Do you know what I mean? So you could get some really great feedback from both sides of the fence. And it does help. It all helps. Some of it's hard to hear, but in the end, it's a lesson that you needed to learn, right? That's how I look at it. BB Homebody, are quiet breaths acceptable for audiobooks? Yes. Or should every breath I hear be edited out? No. I'm trying to breathe more quietly. Don't worry about breathing quietly. Just be normal. Breathe normally. We are people. We are people reading stories to other people. So be human and breathe. Now, again, if you have a big run-on sentence and a gigantic paragraph where you need to take a big, edit that out, because that might be a little distracting for listeners. But normal breaths in between sentences like that are completely normal. And I wouldn't edit them out, because then you'll end up sounding artificial if you take all of your breaths out. So just take the big ones out and leave the natural, normal ones in there. Don't fixate on breaths. Joya says, thank you for you have 3 meditation vids on. Okay, how to make the videos. You told me of them 2 weeks ago, and I watched them and made 16 videos since then. Well, good for you. Sweet. That's awesome. Natural X Jasmine says, I've had so many frustrations with voiceover so far. First, struggled to find a mic I liked, then struggled with mouth noises, same, then struggled with editing to ACX requirements. These are all very normal things. All very normal things. Mouth noise is inevitable. You can hydrate, eat all the green apples you want, do all the tricks that everybody says. But me, mouth noise is like the bane of my voiceover existence. They just are. But until you can get to the point where you can purchase a plugin like Isotope's mouth declick, that plugin is gold, I'm telling you. But I get it. But everything that you're talking about are all normal things to overcome, but just keep practicing, learning, figure out how to edit out the mouth noise if you can in your DAW. Keep hydrating, eating those green apples, whatever works for you. But just keep going, keep practicing. You will get there. Anthony says, for me, it's a lack of experience combined with a little self-doubt. And I think those kind of go hand in hand, right? Because you doubt yourself because you don't have the experience. But put the blinders on, keep looking forward, and just do it. Fire, right? Ready, fire, aim. Just get out there and do it. You will build your experience and your confidence by doing, not by sitting back and planning, right? Natural X Jasmine, that should be a tongue twister. Natural X Jasmine says, I am making progress, however. I'm satisfied with the Blue Yeti. I learned some mouth and breathing techniques and learned to use room tone to my advantage when editing. Well, there you go. See? You're learning as you go. Kirk says, can you point to other gigs in a Fiverr gig, i.e. from the VO gig promote? If it's relevant to what you're talking about, I think. Example, I have in my audiobook gig, at one point, I think I might have removed it, but at one point I had this gig is for audiobooks only. If you need something other than an audiobook, please reference this gig here, right? And then I would paste in the link to that, like my general voiceover gig, something like that. You can do that, but it has to be relevant and it has to be your gigs, obviously. But yes, you can. Leslie says, hi, Angela. Hi, Leslie. I have been practicing editing and I am making progress. Self-doubt is a real deal, especially when editing. It is, and it's very easy to over-edit too. So go light on your editing. Don't do anything that you don't need to do. Feel like I sound awful listening to me over and over. Yeah, same. We've all been there. We've all done it. We've all been there. Ask anybody that has been in voiceover for, longer than a month or two, and they can all tell you the same thing. Hearing yourself is just cringy, but you get used to it. You do get used to it. My girl, Allie Miller says, LOL. What are you laughing at, Allie? Am I saying Candyman? JCCAOL says, wow, you said Candyman 5 times and you're safe. Whew. I was afraid Tony Todd was going to appear. If you never saw the movie, check it out. It's really good. Yes, Candyman. Yes. It's kind of like Bloody Mary, right? Oops. Clicking too much. Stop clicking, Angela. Selah Vidal. Did I say that right? Hello. I've been really struggling with breathing and what okay to leave in a recording and what not. Any suggestions to help me breathe less or whatever? No, breathe normal. You're a human. Breathe normal. Do your thing. Do not concentrate or over obsess on your breaths. Take out the big ones, but leave the natural ones. Don't obsess on your breaths, people. Don't do it. Don't do it. Is it Joya? Okay. I don't know what this name is because it's a mix of the letters in my name. Oh, Joya is how I say it. And don't ask how to pronounce the because I don't know either. Shanatri? Shanatri. Shanatri? I think we'll say Shanatri. Joya Shanatri. Yeah? What do you guys think? I like it. Natural X Jasmine says, should audiobook editing take a long time? Sometimes it does. Sometimes it does, especially in the beginning as you're learning, before you find the proper effects or shortcuts or to make macro steps into micro steps. It does take time to get there. So don't hate on yourself if it takes a long time. You will find steps to combine or eliminate altogether. Like for example, if you're going through a file multiple times for different reasons, go through the file one time for all of those reasons and save yourself hours of listening back. And don't nitpick every little thing either. Because if you end up removing too much of what makes you human, then you'll sound artificial. And you don't want that either. No, your listeners don't want that either. So don't nitpick every little thing. Just make sure that it sounds good and that it meets the file requirements for ACX. That's it. Don't over edit. It's really easy to get into that bad habit. Don't over edit. Like, should I be listening to the book all over again? No. Well, you do kind of as you go through each file, right? But only go through the file once if you can. I mean, don't go through. All right. Okay. Tangent. Hold up. Tangent. No tangent. Stop. Tangent. You'll get better as you go, for sure. Ross Nelson. Good afternoon, Angela. Quick question. How do I post content on my social media that shows my versatility while still being niche focused? Hope my question makes sense. Yes, because I guess it depends on what niche you're focusing on. If it's character work, then you want to show your versatility in character work, right? If it's e-learning, then you can show your versatility in from relaxed and conversational to knowledgeable and professional, right? Or if you're talking to kids, there's some e-learning for kids too. So yes, you can, because there are different tones and purposes, I suppose, for each different niche. So yes, you can. I would definitely do that. If you're laser focused on one particular type of voiceover, there is versatility in just about all of them. Commercials too. Because if you think about it, commercials are, you've got like this luxury kind of feel. And then you have like this, we're burning down the barn doors, kind of come on down, car salesman kind of thing. There's a wide range of tones and purposes in each niche. So yes, it's a great question. Nathaniel Lee says, my question is, can an author download your finished audio without paying you first? Didn't we answer this question? I wouldn't allow them to, unless you really, really trust them and you really have done your homework. Right? But this is why, again, I say get 50% down to prevent anybody from running away with your audio without paying you. Reason Dixon, no, thank you. You are a light. You are a doll. Allie Miller, happy anniversary. Thank you, Allie Cat. Matthew Russell, what company website is best for beginners? If you're looking for audiobooks, I would go ACX. If you're looking for a little bit of everything, I think, mind you, there are hundreds of voiceover casting sites. And I would say find the ones that you can and read all the fine print on all of them. But from my experience personally, and from the people that I know, my voiceover colleagues, most of the people I know have found it easier to get started on sites like Upwork and Fiverr. And not everybody's going to agree with me to go there, and that's fine. But that was my personal experience. And a lot of others that I know started the exact same way on a freelance marketplace site. And then as you continue to build your experience and your confidence and your know-how and your skill set, then you can start branching out to some of the other ones like voices.com, Voice123, Badalgo, Voice Giant, Voice Jungle, Voquent, Mandy, Backstage, right? There's a lot of them. But I have found that those two, Fiverr and Upwork, are generally the easiest to get started on. Christy Lynn to Natural X Jasmine. When I first started, it was taking me 4 to 5 hours to do one chapter. Yes, you should absolutely be listening to the book all over again after recording to catch any mistakes. Whether it be all at once or file by file. Absolutely. CT says, good afternoon. Glad to see your broadcast. Glad you're here, CT. I am just doubtful of myself and don't know how to practice. I totally feel that. I think it comes down to how bad do you want this, right? And it's scary. It is scary because this is a new thing and you don't want to have people tell you that you stink, right? You don't want to hear the constructive criticism because you might just crawl back into your hole. But you can't keep yourself stuck in that safe space. You have to break out of that box and take a step out and introduce yourself to the world. You have to get started. You have to take that step forward. There's no way around it. You have to build up the courage to do it. And I think one of the ways to do that is to go on to places where you can volunteer to do things for free and build your confidence in doing that, whether that's LibriVox.org for an audiobook or you doing narration on YouTube. Do something that's going to build your confidence. So then you know in your heart of hearts that you can do it. And that will help you to build that confidence and to step out. I feel that, CT. How in the world do you say that? SP3. I'm nervous to start the editing process. I feel confident in my voice and my ability to record, but I have frogs. But I have almost no experience in editing files. Depending on your DAW, find some YouTube videos where, and I'm sure there's a YouTube video for every single DAW out there. Just watch some videos and pick up some tips and tricks. I think with most DAWs, you also get a tutorial of sorts on how to use it. But watching voice actors specifically use the DAW for editing and formatting purposes on YouTube will definitely help you do that. And then once you have some pointers or some idea of what to do, then just practice. Just record something, a nursery rhyme or, whatever, a shampoo bottle, whatever it is, and just practice editing with that, right? But don't let that hold you back from moving forward either. Figure it out. You can do it. There's plenty of information out there, more so now than there ever has been. Utilize it. Joya says, if you want to test your voice on the market without being on the market, put a few demos on YouTube. Apparently, people will watch your demos at random and you can get feedback anonymously. I find that, I guess you could. Yeah, I guess you could. You'd be opening yourself up to a lot of anonymous comments. But yeah, you could do that too. For sure. I've done that, actually. I have a few demos on YouTube. And then you can share them with clients too. So they can see a video of you and you doing your thing. And it's just an easy share. You can just share the video link with your clients. Janelle G says, hey, Angela, experience and time was holding me back until recently. Now I'm trying to be more organized. Yes, organization. Something definitely I needed a lot of help with. Good job, Janelle. Veritas ante omnia. I'm starting to lose my voice, guys. Have you ever narrated an audiobook where you realized you didn't like the content or wasn't interested in it? Do you think it affected your performance? I think it does. I think it's naturally going to shine through if you do not like what you're reading. But that is the acting in voice acting. You still have to fight through it and sound knowledgeable, or whatever. If it's if it's like fiction and you're a character, then you have to fight through it and you have to do your best for that author and their work. But that is the acting and voice acting. But yes, been there. Andy B. Hello, all. Hello, Angela. Just checking in. Well, hello, Andy B. Good to see ya. Joya says, Andy B., what did you record this past week? We're all pushing behind you, Andy B. I hope you have an update for us, Andy B. Come on, push through. I know you can do it. See, we got some cheerleaders in here for you, Andy. I hope you're doing it. Matthew says, when you worked full time at your beginning, how many hours did you practice a day? If that was the situation, that is. I think I spent 2 to 3 hours in here at the end of the day, every day. And then the weekends, I was in here. I mean, I had family and other chores and things to do, of course, but I would at least spend 2 to 3 hours, maybe then on the weekends, maybe up to 5 hours in the studio, either working on my website, practicing, reading a book out loud, finding copy, rewriting copy, anything that I could to keep moving forward. I just stayed busy because that, I think, is something. If we stagnate too long, we grow moss and we don't move forward, right? You have to keep moving forward, doing anything and everything that you can do to keep moving forward, even if it's revising your profile, or your gig descriptions, you're maybe making a new thumbnail. I mean, do something that keeps you moving forward and practicing, right? Revamping your demos, adding music and sound effects, or listening back to your old ones. And if you think to yourself, oh man, I could have done it a different way, then do it and revamp it, right? Just keep moving forward. Matthew Russell says, I must say the warm-up exercises sure beats sit-ups any day. Still do your sit-ups. Do your sit-ups. Do not neglect your heart, y'all. Keep doing your sit-ups. That's good for you. Allie Miller says, I think if they like your demo, they'll give you a chance. For sure. For sure. John Serrano Voices says, hi, Angela. I became a voice actor and I joined a VO's Journey Elite Academy because of your channel and Anthony's. You're so inspiring. Thank you for being awesome. Well, thank you for joining and being part of Anthony's Elite Academy. Were you in there when I was a coach? I coached for Anthony for a little while. But Anthony's got a great program there. The VO's Journey Elite Academy is fantastic, I think. Even for the price point that he offers, it's still a great deal for all the information and coaching that you get there. But thank you. Christy Lynn VO says, yeah, both of the authors I'm currently working with had never published on audiobooks before and are really cool folks. And those make it worth it for me. Randy Carpenter says, does the file size matter when sending your finished audiobooks? No, file size, you just can't exceed 2 hours. The file size cannot exceed 2 hours in time length. And it has to be MP3, of course. But other than that, no. Natural X Jasmine says, thanks, Christy Lynn. Glad to know I'm not alone. Phil says, I've got 3 of my auditions rejected, one after the other. It really is draining. I'm recuperating right now to get some mental energy back. Just know that they weren't rejected. You just weren't the voice they were looking for. It's not a rejection. Don't look at it that way. You weren't a right fit. You weren't the voice they had in their head. And there's no way for you to know that, what they're looking for. They can, choose style reads and tone, in the aspects or the audition. What is going on? I can't think of the words. They can detail what they're looking for, but ultimately you can't hear in their head what they're looking for. I guess what I'm just trying to say, they're not rejections. Don't see them as rejections. They weren't a right fit. You weren't a right fit for what they were looking for. And ultimately, that just means that you were not meant to do those. You're meant for something else that's coming your way. That's, again, how I see it. So they're not rejections. Don't take it that way. Just keep going. Keep going. You might have dodged bullets. Who knows? Twisted681 says, "Hello, Angela. Just wanted to say thank you for your time. You are an amazing person. I really appreciate the time and energy you donate to the craft and everyone in it." Thank you. I appreciate you guys for being here. There's 51 people in here watching today, hanging out, sharing information and support. I love it. Oh, for craft's sakes. I love my lunch and roll. I love lunch and roll too. Punch and roll? Are you in punch and roller? Or are you a lunch and roll? Either way, I love it. Huzzah to the uncoordinated. Yes, ma'am. Veritas ante omnia says, "Do you read the whole book to yourself before narrating? Is it a bad idea to record on the first read and make corrections, adjustments as you go?" Yes, read the whole book if time permits. I should say yes, just read the entire book. Because I say that because if it's fiction and you don't know the main character has a Scottish accent until chapter 6, then you're going to have to redo chapters 1 through 5 in a wholly different voice, A. But B, you want to have a good idea of what's going on. So if there's a big plot twist at the end, you want to make sure that you know that so then you can appropriately give the right tone at the right time earlier on in the book. Or you just want to have a good understanding of what it is that you're reading so you can deliver that message appropriately, right? And then record the first read. But if it needs to be adjusted, yeah, go back and reread it. I find that usually a minute and a half to 2 minutes in is when you really start to find your groove. So if you read like the first minute and a half to 2 minutes and then redo it, like mark the retake, or if you're doing punch and roll, get rid of it and then redo it again, then it'll sound much more natural and conversational if that's what you're going for. But usually it takes about 2 minutes to warm up and find the groove of a narration. So if that helps at all. But yeah, make corrections and adjustments as you go if it sounds natural to do so. If not, you might have to re-record. Natural X Jasmine says, "What is click versus punch and roll? Do I need to rewind this live?" I'm multitasking. Sorry if I missed it. There's two methods of narrating or producing an audio file for marking mistakes, basically. The click method is using a little dog clicker. So if I'm narrating something and I make a mistake, I stop, click, and then redo the sentence again, right? So in post, when I go back to edit the file, I can see this really sharp line in my editing and I can see exactly where the mistakes are. And then I can remove it. And then sometimes I have multiple retakes to choose from. If you're doing punch and roll, you're basically editing on the fly. So as you're narrating, you make a mistake, you stop the recording, go back to where you made the mistake and re-record over it then and there. But to me, that takes me kind of out of the place that I'm in, and I'm not coordinated enough, apparently, to do it. But those are the two methods that you can use to narrate audiobooks or voiceover in general. That's what we're talking about. John says, "I'm excited for your webinar. Are you ever going to start teaching at the Elite Academy again?" I don't know. Perhaps. But what John is talking about for a VO's journey, I'm doing a webinar with Anthony Pica on March 25th. We're thinking around noon. I don't know if that is actually final yet. But if you're in Anthony's Elite Academy or even non-Elite Academy, I think the tickets are available to everyone. I don't know if they're available yet, but once I have more concrete details on pricing and where to get tickets to the webinar, then I will definitely share them here with you guys. But that's what he's referring to. Yeah, we got a webinar planned on the 25th of March with Anthony Pica. But I don't know. Maybe. I'll see. Facebook user, let's see, who is this? Don Stevenson. Aside from ACX, are there good resources for newer narrators to audition? FYI, I've tried Find Away Voices, but it's been nothing but crickets over there. Fiverr and Upwork are the two places that I have found the most audiobook work. Now, at the point that I'm at now with YouTube and my other social medias, I now have people reaching out to me to narrate their books, which is fabulous. But in the beginning, Fiverr and Upwork were the two places that I found the most audiobook work. So those are the places I'd check out. Reason says, you have to be ready to make mistakes. It's a part of learning anything. Well said, Reason. Barb Cam says, at Phil, a person in the industry told me audition, 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 and don't look back. If they like your voice, you'll hear from them. Just keep going. VoiceOver is a marathon. Oh, there it goes. Hold on, guys. Gosh. Are we good? I think we're good. VoiceOver is a marathon, not a sprint. Absolutely. Audition, audition, audition. Don't get too caught up in what tangent. Just remember, rejection is not a rejection. It's you weren't the right fit. Yes. Joseph says, yes, it is. Haha. What? What is it? What are we talking about? Punch and roll is life. Yeah, Allie is one of those coordinated folks, unlike myself. Mary HPVO says, hi, sorry I'm so late. It's okay. Hop in, hop out. You know how this goes. But I'm glad you're here, Mary. Good to see you. Joya says, how do you edit out mouse clicks or mouth clicks? I'm struggling with mouse clicks in this first book. I just got my new quieter mouse yesterday. I guess it depends on which DAW you have and how loud they are. Because if you have like Adobe Audition, for example, you can heel brush them out, or you just might have to straight delete them out. What I typically do is I try to just scroll if I can, but I'll even scroll between sentences if I can. So that way I can cut it out if I have to. But I've got a Logitech trackball mouse that I just scroll through the copy of the manuscript. I don't click. If you can avoid clicking, I guess is what I'm saying, then that's generally the better way to go. If you can just scroll through, that would be better. But you might just have to delete them or heel brush them out if you need to. Christy Lynn says, hi, Mary. Yes. Yes, my platinum peeps. Phil, thanks, Barb. Joseph says, breathe from the diaphragm. Act as if you are sipping through a straw for better breathing technique. There you go. Or just breathe. Don't concentrate so much on your breath. Just breathe. You're a human. Breathe. Mary says, hi, Christy. Victor says, hi, Angela. What inspired you to become a book narrator and start your own YouTube channel? I'm a book nerd. And I was scrolling through MSN one day on my lunch break when I worked in the car business for 20 years and I was on my lunch break, and I found an interview with an audiobook narrator, and it was just that light bulb aha moment where I was like, oh my God, people are paid to do this. I'm like, man, I could read books out loud and get paid for it. I'm reading books anyway. Why not give this a try? And then I started with audiobook narration, and then it sort of branched into all other aspects of voiceover. So, and then the YouTube channel was suggested by my friend and former coach, Anthony Pica. I was in a coaching session with him, and he goes, you should start a YouTube channel. And I said, me being the introvert that I am, I was like, no one's going to want to listen to me. No one's going to want to see me. I'm not interesting at all. And he says, but you have a different perspective and you're female. You might appeal to other women. And I said, well, if I can appeal to anybody and give them any kind of information, then yeah, maybe it would be worth it. So I gave it a try. To start, I did Upwork tips for people in the academy because I'm also part of his academy, right? Or his elite is what it was called back then before the academy. So I was showing Upwork tips for them, and then it sort of just kind of snowballed into something completely different. But it was his suggestion, actually. Leslie says, when I have edited big breaths, I find the quietest breath in my read and use it in the huge, loud, breathy breath. Oh, well, yeah, you could do that. Yeah. Or use room tone, whatever way sounds most natural, I suppose, in the middle of your read. Yeah, that's a good one too. You could do that. Twisted681 says, I need to put in some studio time. Stay amazing, Angela. Go get that studio time in. And I will try my best. Veritas ante omnia says, regarding your answer to one of my previous comments where could I ask a VO professional for feedback on my recording? Would this be a paid coach? To be honest, I would want multiple perspectives. Because yeah, you could seek out a coach to listen to your demos for like a one-on-one coaching thing, but multiple perspectives and views and ideas and tips, I think would be great. And that's free, right? But if you have the time and you really want one professional opinion on your demo, then yeah, you might need to seek out a coach or a mentor to have them give you feedback on your samples. Yes. But again, in my Facebook group, I allow people to do this, to post a demo for feedback. But a paid coach would be the other route. Yeah. Bart Diaz says, hi, Angela and Angela's viewers. Chain sprayer here. Hello, my name is Bart and I'm a fraghead? What does that even mean? This question is piggybacking on the question about breaths a few minutes ago. Can you please give an example of breaths that are permissible in a finished audio and breaths that should be edited out? Again, just breathe. Don't worry too much about breaths. If you come across a place where you have like a big paragraph or a run-on sentence and you're just like, and before you continue on, that big breath might be a little bit distracting for listeners. But if you're just having a conversation, you take a natural breath in between sentences, that's completely normal. I mean, technically, they're both completely normal, but I think the big breath might be a little distracting, although I have heard them in audiobooks. But don't spend too much time getting caught up on breaths, guys. We're paying way too much attention to them. Breathing is human and it's normal. Don't cut them out unless it's distracting. Or you have like a nose fart and a big one or something, or, a cough, whatever you're doing in your breaths. If it's distracting, take it out. But a normal, natural breath, leave it there. Makes us human. Victor says, hi, Angela. I'm curious about the process of approving or declining audio files on ACX. Are these decisions made by humans or automated robots? You mean for their QA process? I think they use software. And then once there's an issue or maybe an appeal, then a human gets involved. But I think the software does a pass on it to see if it fits the files. But I have found that they are not 100% accurate 100% of the time. I have had files kicked back to me for one reason or another. I take a look at it and it still meets all the parameters. I do nothing to it, resubmit it, and it's accepted on the second take. So I don't think they're completely accurate, but I think it's just software. I don't know how many humans they have working over there nowadays. Good golly. Bart says, 50 people watching and only 22 likes. Show some love and smash that like button, voice actors. Thank you. I'm getting too old for this. No, you're not. No, you're not. You can still do it. All right, where are we at on time? Okay, I got to button this up, guys. Okay, so Joy West. Hi, Angela. Lack of experience is my issue, for example. I want to be a narrator for ACX, but when I was filling out the form, it asked for more experience but I didn't have anything to fill in. Just put your life experience in there. It doesn't have to be titles. Do what you used to do before you found audiobook narration, because that could be relatable. Or just talk about yourself, who you are as a person. You're a mom, you work in, like for me, it was the car business. I'm a mom and I enjoy long walks on a beach. Just put something in there, and it doesn't have to be experience that you've had. Like, I think there's a section that lists credits that you've done. I didn't have anything other than the couple of LibriVox things that I did, and I put those in there. But if you don't have anything, you don't have anything. To be honest, I don't even know how many rights holders actually read that. I think ultimately what it comes down to is if you're the right voice or not. So just write about yourself. Your life experience is experience. Don't let that hold you back. Joanna says, I have one sample recorded, but I got a nicer mic, and now I have to soundproof better because the new mic is so much stronger. Oh, yeah. Once you get a new mic, or really, my new interface has made me more sibilant than my old one did. So any new gear is going to change the way you sound slightly. So it might take a little bit of tweaking later in your effects rack, right? Or even in your space. Natural X Jasmine says, thanks, Angela. You're a doll. No, you're a doll. You are the doll, my dear. Christy Lynn VO to Phil says, I had done more than 20 auditions before I was selected, and I know others who have done even more. Same. Keep auditioning. You will be the voice someone is looking for. Yes. And you will never get to that place and crossing paths with the author looking for your voice unless you're auditioning. It's a numbers game. Just like anything else in business, the more you do it, the more opportunity you have to be that voice and to be found by the person looking for you, right? Keep going. Keep auditioning. Joanna's little smiley face. John says, I joined the academy recently. I watched all your replay classes. I was on the fence about joining, but when I found out you used to be a member teacher, that was the deciding factor that made me join. Oh, stop it. I'm still a member. I'm still in the academy. I'm actually still part of the elite group. I've been in his elite group for years now, like 4 years. But you never know. I might come back and teach again. Leslie says, at Phil, I think about auditions like a beauty pageant. All are worthy, and you really don't know what the judges are looking for. There you go. Perfect. Randy says, do authors ever give details for not picking my voice? I've never had anybody tell me why they didn't choose me, and I didn't ask. I just moved on, to be honest, because I'm too self-conscious about things, right? But I guess if you're one of those people that wants to know, you could always message the author and ask them, right? Just don't do it too much that you are considered to be harassing, right? If you want to ask, then I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But no, they typically don't tell you why. Phil says, thanks to Christy Lynn. Mary says, clicker all day long. I make up to 5 mistakes at a time. Yeah, I still do too. Those tongue twisters, man. Phil says, thanks, Leslie. Salah, is it Selah Vidal? Thanks for answering my question. It was very helpful. I have other, though. Is there a place or method you use to learn accents? Oh, don't ask me about accents. I can do accents in my head, but they don't come out of my mouth the way that they're in my head. So if you can find like a dialect coach that can help with that, a lot of I have found a lot of great videos on specific accents on YouTube, or you can there's an audiobook on accents, I want to say. If you do a little Google searching, I'm sure you can find some other resources for learning accents, but I probably need to do that myself because I just can't get accents out of my mouth properly. Christy Lynn says Logitech G502. It has an amazing scroll wheel that is silent. Ooh, I wonder what mine is. Mine is a trackball, but it does have a scroll on it too. I'm going to have to look at that. I'm writing it down. G502. Check that out. Thank you for that, Christy. Christy Lynn then says, at Veritas Ante Omnia, Angela's Platinum Group. It's very reasonably priced, and you'll be getting feedback from your peers. I'll plug it for you, Angela. Thank you, Christy. You guys know I don't like to plug myself. Makes me feel oogie. Thank you, Christy. Leslie says, thanks to Christy. Joya says, I just started writing in gasps, sighs, and breaths in the book just to match it with the audiobook copy so I don't have to edit it out. Interesting. That's awesome. Being the author is great. Yes. Love that. Matthew says, thank you so much. Absolutely. Joanna, happy smiley face. Joy West, thank you so much, Angela. Yep. Leslie says, glad you're, wrong one. Glad you're feeling better. Thanks for all you do. And thank you guys for taking some time out of your day. I know that I'm here for an hour and a half to 2 hours, sometimes maybe an hour, but I understand that time is, something that we don't have enough of. And I think it's important to spend some time together and having these conversations, because voiceover can be a little lonely, right? I mean, you could have a house full of family, but they won't understand what you're saying when you're trying to talk to them about this. The lingo, the terminology, the hurdles, the obstacles, the things that we go through every day. So it's important, I think, to connect with others in this industry so you don't feel alone. And I absolutely love doing this every week. I was very sad last week when I missed it. I wasn't feeling well, but I'm much better now, and I'm glad I'm here, and I'm glad all of you are here. And I'm hoping that some of the people watching for the first time found something helpful in here. And if this one wasn't that helpful, I have hundreds of other videos here on my channel. Take a look. Maybe you'll find something close to what you're looking for, hopefully. Okay, last comment. Joya says, I was using a 1990s Microsoft mouse where the scroll wheel was clicking. Oh no, it might be time for an upgrade, sister. Thank you, Christy and Angela. Absolutely. Are you a sister or a brother? I'm not sure. Fam? I don't know by your name, I'm assuming. Okay, well, I'm done. Okay, all right. Commenters. All right, 10. These are the last two. 10 Dicey, just started voiceover. Love your videos. Been watching for the last few months. Please keep them coming. Yes, I have a few more new ideas for videos that I might have to make new videos. Christy Lynn says the G502 actually has 2 settings for the wheel. Click, still quiet, and continuous scroll, silent. Oh, I'm going to have to check that one out because, gear addict. All right, guys. Well, I am going to run. I do have work to catch up on since I was pretty much toast last week. Thank you, everyone, so much for being here today. And I will see you again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Everybody have a fabulous week. I'll see you next week. Bye.